Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Today I'm very much thankful to IOMR and Shalu ma'am to allow me to speak on something new, which is called artificial intelligence. We are going to talk about something which is not invented now, which is invented in 1950s, but the hype, the
Please,
application.
excuse me, sir. Please on the recording, sir. Recording is not on. Only you can start the recording.
One,
Recording can be done from bottom,
yeah.
bottom of the Zoom. Yes, it is started, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So let me have a fresh start again. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome all to you to my webinar, and thank you, IOMR and Shalu ma'am, for initiating this online webinar. So, today, as I told you, we are going to talk about something which is not a recent thing. It is something which has been there since 1950. It is just the hype and the application part has been recently encountered. So, let's talk about how artificial intelligence is going to help us and what brings me into this thing, that when did I found this and how did I use it in my practice. So as we start, as I told, I am Dr. Suresh Ludhwani. I'm a maxillofacial radiologist. I have a chain of a diagnostic center which is known as Oroscan. We do 3D printing, give 3D printing service. We tie up with the different people, different centers, and provide 3D printing services. We have aligner services, and I have recently started with AI as something I loved it as soon as I got more in depth. So, which is I'm going to talk. I am an KOL for Action Cavo and a Diagnocat, a software which we will be talking today. So let's start this thing. How did AI bring to my notice? When did I decided that I should talk about or I should think about or I should bring AI into practice? This was the first image which I came across, and it was, will AI artificial intelligence replace radiologists? Trust me, this brought me into shock because we as a radiologist are surviving on our diagnostic centers. We are happily surviving. So somewhere when there is some replacement or some competition coming up, we always take a back and we think about it. But more and more I read about it, there were big celebrities who were concerned about that radiologist profession is going to be out of the market because now AI is going to take the thing. So this something brought attention to me, and then I decided to read about it, learn about it. So this is around 8 months back before I found this thing. Now let's start with a very small thing. What is AI? On a theoretical background, the term AI is applied when a device mimics cognitive functions such as learning and problem solving. Okay, so let's make it in a layman language. There will in this webinar there will be typical engineering terminology which I will try to make it in a more layman language so that we can understand, because we are not engineers, but we will try to be one. So AI is like a substitute which can mimic like a human. It has a capability of learning and problem solving, but that doesn't completely make a human. A human can improvise, machine can never improvise. So that's the biggest difference between a human and an artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence can learn and solve the problem on the basis of what it has learned. Okay, so let's talk about.
Wouldn't it be nice if you had a Google for your world? That's why we're building the Google Assistant. Hi, Amy. How can I help? You just ask it what you need. Okay, Google, what do I have to do today? And your assistant understands and helps you out. You can even carry on a conversation with it. How long will it take to get to downtown Chicago from home? Here you go. What restaurants are there? Book a table at Cortino Restaurant. Sure. And the assistant is always there for you. So if you're on the road, you can ask it where to fill up. And if you're at home, you can ask it to play some music. Or if you're in a chat with a friend, it can show you what's playing tonight. It's like your own personal Google. Naturally, anything you share with it is safe and secure. And the more you use your Google Assistant, the more useful it becomes. Remember, my byte combo is 326. Got it. And soon, you'll be able to access it from all sorts of places, so it will be everywhere you are. We made this for everyone. And today, we're making this just for.
So this was first video which I could see. This was Google's video where they have adopted AI so much initially. Now even Google is adopting AI in a healthcare sector, but you can just see how they are utilizing, how beautiful it is. Let's talk about everyone who is using Apple. What is Siri doing? Siri is answering every question you ask. How? How does Siri know about you? How she is answering you? The more you talk to Siri, you can see after 6 months, Siri will be talking to you more and more fluently and more understanding. How? Because she is learning from you. How is Uber knowing where are you? How they get to know the location right now? Now, one of the you have ever thought of why how can Uber suddenly increase the prices in the late night hours when we are coming from airport to our places? They suddenly raise their fares. How? That is all AI. How we all must be using and Netflix like anything. How does Netflix gets to know that what is good for us, what we would like to see? Whenever you are going to search something on Google, as soon as you type out, there will be 10 different options. How does that Google knows? Everything is artificial intelligence. Now, this is something you need. Artificial intelligence is now in everything at present you are using. So somewhere, whether you want to accept it or not, but AI is a part of your life. And now you need to understand how AI would be useful to you or it will just replace you. So now there are two different terminologies which I came across. One was machine learning and other is deep learning. Now to make you more precise, AI is a big umbrella in which there are two subsets which are machine learning and deep learning. Both of them ultimately lead to development of AI. So machine learning is like an algorithm that improves when it is exposed to more and more data. We will go to, oh, I will make you understand that thing. Don't worry. I know that these first few 10 slides will make you a take back. Okay, is it an engineer lecture? No. But we need to understand before getting into uh, any kind of subject. The second is deep learning. Now, deep learning is process like our brain. We all know our brain is made up of neurons. Similarly, a deep learning has adopted what we call neuronal network theory. That also we will explain. I will explain you, but in a very superficial way. But you will be able to apply that thing in the future slides. First, as I told you, machine learning. I will start with an example. Imagine this guy likes some music. Now you are going to enter, you ask him, what kind of music do you like? He says, I like in high tempo music, my high intensity music, and a male voice music he likes. So you get all the feedbacks from him. Now, what you do is you put all the feedbacks in the computer. You make, just imagine an Excel sheet in which you have made that, and for a particular song, imagine any song which you like is having a high intensity, low tempo, or high intensity. Similarly, I planned it for this person. Now, how does AI work? Now the machine has got everything. Machine knows that this guy likes this kind of music. Now suddenly any music is playing, and this person doesn't have to interfere. The machine will already know whether this song is high intensity or low tempo, and whether it he will like or no. So it will decide whether the person likes or no, and it will play or it won't play. This is the theory on which Netflix work. Netflix see your selection, that what kind of selection your mom is watching movie, so she will be watching all the drama movies. So whenever you're seeing, whenever you get a suggestion from the Netflix, would be all the drama. This is how the AI works. AI learns from the data. And there is, we all bring so much data to the digital world that the machine keeps on learning from us. Like this, as I explained, the machine got to know that he likes this kind of song, so he will play accordingly, the fast tempo and the soaring intensity. Now, I hope this machine learning concept has been understood by everyone. In case anyone has a doubt, please do and ask me at the end. I can give you another example to understand. Now, the second is deep learning. The deep learning is also called convolution neural network. Now you can see this thing. Now, sorry, there are actually few people which are in the waiting room, and now I can't accept because we are already 100. So, deep learning, as I told you, deep learning consists of
Thank you.
Uh, I will request the person to kindly mute.
Dr. Ravleen, please mute your audio. Your device is not muted. Thank you.
Okay, coming back to the presentation, deep learning consists of multiple filters. For example, now this is really important for you to understand, because deep learning is the artificial intelligence which is highly applied in our healthcare sector. Now, the Google applied, you must have known that Google is working on diabetic glyconeuropathy. They are able to find out anything abnormal in our glaucoma, anything abnormal in our eyes in the patients suffering from diabetes. How they are doing it? Now, just imagine, we all are oral. I hope we all are maxillofacial radiologists. We all have heard about the pixels. Okay, any image which is there consists of hundreds of pixels which are there. Those pixels have a different. Can you imagine? You can start imagining an X-ray film, or so you will be able to correlate. This has a hundred of colors. There are different structures. There is different intensity. So these pixels play a very important role. Like over here, you can see a retina. Retina's picture. This picture has a number of pixels which have different color values, different intensity. Now, what we do is, in case we know that how does this mechanism work? A company hires ophthalmologists, 15 ophthalmologists. What does 15 ophthalmologists do? They take a sample size of thousands to 10,000 people, and they check that thing, okay, where there is an abnormality. and they instruct the computer present the Excel sheet. Okay, this is the site, there is an abnormal. This abnormality is square in shape, round in shape, or different in shape. So the computer keeps on collecting those data. After those, all those ophthalmologists have guided the computer of studying the thousands of case. So now the computer got to know that how does any retinopathy will appear. So whenever you are uploading any picture into that software, it within the fractions of seconds they detect, okay, this is an abnormality. This is how it works. Now you will say that this is so easy, and how does it will help us? As I told you, the more and more knowledge you give to the computer, more and more better it will get. For example, you keep tell them more about the texture, color, edges, it will give you more and more accurate results. Like you can see, this is how it is getting filtered, and ultimately we get the diagnosis. Now start, let's think about, okay, how it will, just a minute there. Okay. Now let's think about how this will help us in our radiology. You can just imagine a picture of this retina. Instead of that, we can have a picture of any X-ray. That X-ray could be of a tumor. Now, there the company will hire around radiologists, which can. There is someone who's okay. So the company will hire few radiologists which will study thousands of data of different tumors. And on the basis of it, it will give a determination. For example, if it is a cyst, it will tell it is a unilocular, it is round, it is radiolucent, its density is this, its grayscale value is this, and all those data will be given into the computer. And what does this is our job. After this thing, a data scientist come into a picture. What does data scientist do? Data scientist devises an algorithm. Algorithm means something which we all have learned in our 10th or ninth standard. We did determine that Excel sheet, we determine that formulas for any kind of formula we want to derive it. This similarly an algorithm is derived for this particular kind of thing, and ultimately a conclusion is made. So there are two type of data which are input. One is a testing data and other is a training data. Well, the first initial thousands data is called testing data, in which the radiologist or a clinician sit and help the data scientist filter the entire data. Second is the testing data. Once we get the algorithm, at the end, the data scientists apply those algorithm and find the result. And finally, the software is developed. So this is a very long process. When we compare to machine learning and the deep learning, machine learning is something which is very superficial and is applied in a very day-to-day life apps, while the deep learning requires a lot of data and it is more nicely used in our healthcare sectors. Now you can recently, you must have found there were many things on the Facebook that we can diagnose pneumonia. No, I would correct myself. It doesn't diagnose, it detects. Diagnosis is done by a radiologist. AI detects that there are an abnormalities and the radiologist approve it and diagnosis. So there were, you must have seen during the COVID, during our COVID era, there were different people who were saying that we can, within seconds, we can diagnose that the patient is developing any abnormalities of COVID or not. That was through AI. So that is something which we will be doing it right away. So now, how does it apply to our dental radiology? How will we use this machine learning and the deep learning in this? Now, we all have heard about the large data which we have we have. So what does a person, engineering does is, engineering call a dental radiologist like us. He first asks, give him the data and ask him to segment. Now, when we say segment, what they do is they mark the tooth. First thing they do is they mark the tooth. They tell on an axial section, they mark like this is a central, lateral, canine, premolars, and subsequently they mark all the teeth. Second they do is, after marking, this is called segmentations. Second is called registration. Now registration, we all know everything has a grayscale value. We know that a dentine, enamel would be more opaque compared to the dentine and pulp. So pulp will be lucent. So similarly, a grayscale value will be given. That particular pixel or voxel will be registered at a particular data, and the data is in 2 digit, 0 or 1. So they give like radiolucent appears 0, radio opaque appears 1. So in between 0 and 1, whatever it is appearing, the machine will keep on learning from us. For example, that caries appears. A caries, again, it is radiolucent, but how will it differentiate from the pulp? But pulp has a different location. So this is how there will be different things which we will feed on, giving it to our machine to learn from us. And after learning everything, they create something algorithm which is also in our language called model. That model, computer model, is something we, the data scientists, will visualize, and in that they will put the testing data, and the testing data will keep on doing correction, more correction. Ultimately the final thing is not done. This is a long process. I will just 1 minute, give me a minute, I'm just accepting few people. Okay. Now this was something I told you, that this is the first step. So segmentation. What it is done, that we dentist or a radiologist will mark particular area. This is central, lateral, canine, and everything. Now the machine is learning that, okay, whenever there is an axial section, it will be in the arch shaped, and the arch shape will have tooth arranged in a this way, and that tooth will have a different density. This is how machine is learning from us. He learned the arch shape and the tooth form and the position of it. So machine got to learn that where the which tooth is present. Now, second, now after segmentation, we are registering. Now what we are registering is, we are determining which segment is what is enamel, what is dentine, what is pulp, and what is the density. It is necessary. We are talking about the minute pixels and voxels. So we need to, they will register those small, and they will label those things and create what we call model. Now, they will do thousands of data they will put in which they will test it. Okay, what is implant? What is crown? How does a crown appear? How does a canal appear? How does a restoration appears? When are when we can tell this is a missing teeth? When this can be told this is a failed teeth? So the everything we as a radiologist guide the data scientists, and they prepare such Excel sheets, and then they prepare an algorithm. Now this algorithm is entirely prepared. Now on this basis, the data scientists will develop an algorithm, and as soon as you put your data, your new CBCT in the software, automatically it will detect the position of the teeth, enamel, any pathology in enamel, any pathology in dentine, any pathology in pulp, how does the trabecular pattern, everything will be done automatically. You don't have to do anything. So everything which is done is earlier, later on things get auto mode. Now, how, let's go to the application part. Now, application part is something which is very critical. Some say that, okay, I don't know, I don't need AI. Why do I need? I can do it myself. So this is something I will be explaining from my perspective, that how it is important for me. Now, as it is said, a picture is worth of 1,000 words. Now, listen to see this picture. Now, what it is happening is, you a radiologist at an OPG, a patient is, you all must be getting those patients who keep on asking us, sir ऐसा तो नहीं है, sir ऐसा तो नहीं है, ऐसा तो नहीं है. After thousands of questions, you have a self assessment. Okay, is it something which I'm missing? Is it something I'm missing? Or your referring doctor asks, sir ऐसा तो नहीं है कि वहाँ पे secondary caries है, अच्छा ऐसा तो नहीं है वहाँ पे abscess है, वहाँ पे fracture है. These all questions create a self doubt on it. Now, what does AI do? AI be an assistant to you in this scenario. They do the entire thing in from your the data collected, and they give you the inputs, they give you the findings, and you can always cross check it before telling it to the patient, or before you can even staying by yourself, you can always cross check it. So does it have a big impact? Let's see. So what I felt is, after running these centers, what things I was facing as a problem was, first, that fatigue. After having in constant watching constantly the different CBCTs, at the end of the day, my mind, the last 10-15 seconds, I don't understand that what things I'm missing out. I have to see, I have to see the all teeth, I have to see all bone, I have to see sinuses, I have to see condyles, I have to see everything. At the end of the day, it is just a fatigue which may lead me to missing of the teeth. Second is limited time of reporting. We all those who are running a CBCT center must have faced is, before the patient comes, you get a report, the doctor calling you up कि बिठाना मत ज्यादा, जल्दी भेज देना, जल्दी भेज देना. And at the end time, you need to report it fast. And third is, we need to invest in different humans. If you need to hire someone to help you, you need to hire a few technicians to help you. So these are the three things which I faced. And even the literature says that, okay, the radiologists are the people who get a lot of fatigue due to constantly facing those scans, and it makes you very tiring job. And there are so many structures to see. There are so many structures. There are often at the afternoon shift, there are many times I miss out few things, but that is quite obvious because it's a human thing. You start thinking about the obvious thing. You start neglecting the rare things. So it is something, I will not see a secondary caries below the restoration in an OPG. So these are the few things which keeps on happening, and it can happen to anyone. And the third, it was told by a Stanford radiologist that artificial intelligence will not replace a radiologist, yet those radiologists who use AI will replace those who don't. Is it? I questioned myself. Is it so? Let's see how does it help us. So basically today I'm going to show you three softwares. One is AIS, which is an Action software. Then is Diagnocket. It's an pure AI artificial intelligence based software. And third is WebSafe. Again, it is AI based, but it is pertinent to only SEF analysis. So let's go first. Now, the panoramic radiographs are the most commonly prescribed radiographs. So let's start with I have recorded few videos that how these all things work. Now, in this first software is Diagnocat. In this Diagnocat, you can upload any kind of data, JPEG, when you think about IOPAs, and the panoramic, and the DICOM data in cases of CBCT. So what you do, you just upload it. Have a look at the entire video. I will keep on speaking. So I'm just uploading an panoramic image. So it take few seconds before once it is uploaded, and it will automatically generate the entire report. Now this is an OPG I've uploaded. So I will see those two teeth are impacted and I will just let him go, because I would think that that would be the reason why it was prescribed. So, but there are so many structures